first time I saw the truck, it was parked under a flickering streetlight on a desolate stretch of Highway 89. Its headlights were off, but the chrome grille gleamed under the pale moonlight like a hungry beast waiting to pounce. Something about it sent a shiver crawling down my spine. Maybe it was the way the air around it felt wrong, thick, oppressive, humming with something unnatural. Or maybe it was the driver, slumped behind the wheel, face hidden in shadow, motionless as if he were dead. But he wasn't. He was watching me. I should have walked away. I should have ignored the nagging feeling clawing at the edges of my mind, telling me to leave. But curiosity is a funny thing. It makes you lean in when you should run. And so, against my better judgment, I stepped closer. That was the first mistake. Being a long-haul trucker, I was no stranger to eerie highways and restless nights. I'd spent years on the road, navigating endless stretches of asphalt, my life reduced to the hum of tires and the crackle of my CB radio. But that rig, a matte black Peterbilt 389, with no company insignia, no DOT number, nothing but a strange crimson emblem on the door, stuck with me. I first saw it at a rundown truck stop near the Arizona border. It was parked at the far end of the lot, shrouded in shadows. There were no lights on in the cab, no sign of life, yet I couldn't shake the feeling that someone, or something, was inside, watching. The air around it was thick, almost humming with an unseen energy. I told myself it was just fatigue, a trick of the night, but deep in my gut, I knew better. I filled up my thermos with coffee, shook off the unease, and got back on the road. But as the miles stretched behind me, I found myself constantly checking my mirrors. Half an hour later, my headlights caught something in the distance. The same black truck, parked off the shoulder, its cab still dark, its presence looming like an unspoken threat. I gripped the wheel tighter and pressed down on the gas. The night deepened, and the road became a tunnel of darkness. My GPS flickered erratically, recalculating over and over, sending me down roads I didn't recognize. The air outside thickened, turning a deep, foggy gray, swallowing the landscape whole. I felt as if I were the only living thing left on Earth. Then, in my mirrors, I saw the truck again. It was moving now, keeping its distance, but always there. I tried to ignore it, but my hands trembled on the wheel. I had seen my fair share of weird things on the road, phantom hitchhikers, ghost towns, strange lights in the sky. But this was different. This wasn't something I could rationalize. The CB radio crackled to life. "You can't outrun the road, driver." The voice was deep, guttural, as if spoken through a throat filled with gravel. I hesitated before grabbing the mic. "Who is this?" Static, then a low, rumbling chuckle. The truck behind me flashed its headlights once, and suddenly, my rig lost power. The engine sputtered, my dashboard lights flickered, and my brakes locked up. My 18-wheeler skidded to a stop on an empty stretch of highway that hadn't been empty seconds ago. I sat there, heart hammering, hands white-knuckled on the wheel. The silence was thick, oppressive. I dared a glance in my rearview mirror, expecting to see the black truck barreling toward me. But it wasn't there. Instead, the highway was lined with trucks, dozens of them. Their cabs sat in perfect formation, stretching endlessly into the fog. Their headlights were off, their engines silent. Then I saw the drivers. They stood beside their rigs, motionless. Their faces were hollow, gaunt, eyes sunken into shadowed sockets. They stared at me, their expressions unreadable, their bodies unnaturally still. My CB crackled again. "Welcome to the Devil's Convoy. Keep driving or join them." I slammed the gas pedal, tires screeching as my rig lurched forward. The figures didn't move, but I could feel their whispers slithering through the air, seeping into my skin. Keep driving, keep driving, keep driving." The whispering grew louder, filling my cab, drowning out my own panicked breaths. I focused on the road, refusing to look back, but the weight of their gazes pressed against me like a physical force. Then, in my mirrors, I saw the black truck again. This time it was right behind me. I heard the whispers again, but this time they were not just around me. They were inside me, in my bones. My memories began to fade, who I was, where I was going. The road became all I knew. Then, in the distance, I saw something new. A rest stop. A lone trucker sat inside his rig, his headlights illuminating the lot. He looked up, our eyes meeting through the windshield. His face paled, his grip on the wheel tightening as he stared at my rig, my black Peterbilt 389, the one with the crimson emblem on the door. I smiled. I reached for the CB. "You can't outrun the road, driver." A new chill settled over me. The driver's face twisted in confusion and fear, his hand already moving to the ignition. I could almost hear his breath quicken, the frantic pounding of his heart. I had seen it before, just as the others had watched me when I was still human. I stepped out of my truck, but my feet didn't touch the ground. I was no longer a man. I was the whisper in the night, the shadow behind the rig, the reason truckers never stop on empty highways. And as I watched the frightened man speed away, I knew he would be back. They all come back. The road never ends. And the devil's convoy always needs new drivers. The night was too quiet. I had been trucking long enough to know the sounds of the road, the hum of my tires against the asphalt, the distant hoot of an owl, the occasional growl of an engine passing by. But tonight, the silence stretched too thick, pressing in on me like a weight. Then, in my rearview mirror, I saw it. A truck. No headlights, no engine sound, just rolling toward me, its blackened grille gleaming under the moonlight. It was moving fast, too fast. My hands gripped the wheel tighter as my pulse kicked up. Something was wrong. It started at a rest stop just outside of Wyoming. I had been on the road for nearly 16 hours straight, exhaustion creeping into my bones. I pulled into a lot that looked nearly abandoned, save for one truck parked under a broken streetlight. It was massive, an old rig, all black with no markings, its windows tinted so dark I couldn't see inside. I should have just minded my own business, should have just parked, taken my break, and moved on. But as soon as I opened my door, the CB radio crackled to life. "You shouldn't have stopped here, driver." The voice was low, gravelly, like a man who had spent too many years smoking unfiltered cigarettes. My gut twisted as I reached for the radio. "Who is this?" Silence, then static, long drawn out, stretching over the airwaves like something breathing in the darkness. I turned to look at the black truck. The cab light was on, and someone was sitting inside. The next morning, I got back on the road, shaking off the unease. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe I was just tired. Either way, I needed to get moving. I had a long haul ahead, and the sooner I put miles between myself and that truck stop, the better. But something was off. The GPS glitched, rerouting me down an unfamiliar stretch of highway. My CB picked up nothing but static. The air grew heavier, thicker, like I was driving through an unseen storm. Then, up ahead, I saw a sign. "Welcome to Black Hollow." Population, 0. My stomach dropped. That town wasn't on my map. Hell, I had never even heard of it. But my headlights illuminated buildings up ahead, dilapidated storefronts, a gas station with shattered windows, a church missing half its roof. I hit the brakes. My rig screeched to a stop. Then my headlights flickered, and I wasn't alone. Figures moved along the edges of the street, half hidden in shadows. They walked unnaturally, slow, stiff, like marionettes with broken strings. Their faces were wrong, their eyes hollow pits that swallowed the light. I shifted into reverse, ready to get the hell out of there. But my rearview mirror showed the black truck again, closer this time, and its headlights were still off. My CB radio crackled to life once more. "You can't leave, driver. You're already part of the freight." My breath hitched as the truck's engine finally roared to life, a guttural growl that made my bones vibrate. The air around me grew colder. The smell of burning oil thickened my nostrils. I slammed on the gas, tearing down the street as the black truck surged after me, its grill a gaping maw ready to swallow me whole. The road stretched endlessly before me, looping back no matter which turn I took. Every sign still read, "Black Hollow." My fuel gauge flickered erratically, bouncing between full and empty. Time had lost meaning. I didn't know how long I had been driving, only that the truck behind me never wavered. I tried the radio again. "Somebody, anybody, I'm stuck. I need help." A voice finally answered. "You were chosen." I slammed my fist against the dash. Chosen for what? The static buzzed, then cleared. To take his place. I didn't have time to question it. Up ahead, the road split into two paths, one leading into a pitch-black tunnel, the other vanishing into fog. Neither looked promising. Behind me, the truck's horn blared, shaking the very ground beneath my wheels. I had to decide. Now. I don't remember what happened after I made my choice. All I know is that I'm still driving. The highway never ends. My fuel never runs out. My radio only picks up whispers now, faint voices of other truckers, warning them to stay away from Black Hollow. I see them sometimes. New drivers, fresh meat, confused and scared. I flash my headlights, hoping they get the message, hoping they turn around before it's too late. Because once you join the midnight freight, you never stop, and the black truck is always waiting for its next driver.